Fits with slap chop. You're going to be in a great mood all day because you're going to be slapping your troubles away with the slap chop. Now look, here's a potato.
Hey boys and girls, it's KnightStalker here. Welcome along today to my short video on the Silahdars, aka Slap Chop. Check it out, man. So today we're just going to dive into this unit real quick and I'll show you all about it. So what do Silahdars do? Silahdars are a heavy infantry unit. They carry a bardiche, which is a giant poleaxe murder death machine, and their whole design in life is to walk up to things and slap chop them like you're butchering something small and chunky, preferably an onion. I'm not saying people, but some people have layers like onions. That's all I'm saying. So what sort of doctrines am I using on them? I'm using their special one assist, so they get 10% move speed when using get over here. So that's when they're in the cover commander mode. When they're running towards you, they'll get 10% movement bonus. Very, very useful. They take reduced range damage by 50 per hit. That's kind of okay. It's better than nothing. We're taking the breakthrough doctrine to have another 95% damage to units, and we're going to have the epic mobility doctrine, which I actually don't use much when I'm using them because I like them to stay sort of all grouped up and tight with me, but it's there if you need it. And you may or may not have this on your server, but they have a 16% leadership reduction. So you probably noticed the distinct lack of damage doctrines. Why is that? Why is that, KnightStalker? Well, let's have a pop over here. So you've got, let's talk about this. So this damage stat here, 17 and 18, or 1650 and 18, whatever you want to round it to, and 7 to 800 damage. You know, not a lot of things do blunt damage, and those things typically need to get pretty close. Nearly 13,000 hit points. Pretty nice. Don't use them for mining, it's terrible. So the two lines are basically this one here, which is the extra damage line, and this one here, which is the extra tankiness line. Both of these lines are valid choices, to be perfectly honest with you. The thing that I like up the top here is the continued sideways sweep. Where are we? The cooldowns, because it allows you to spam this ability here. And that was your main damage ability, sideways sweep. It just does a massive overhand slash, and it has those nice white contrails. The other one takes a little bit to do, Death Strike. Clear forward and immediately activating the skill, deal damage, knock down enemies. So this is really good for knocking down shield walls and things like that. Of course, it won't work on anything that is resisting CC, resisting knockdown. Don't think any of these, there we go, enemies who have been pushed back or slashed away by the get over here, that's this one here. That's cover commander. They'll take they will deal significantly less damage afterwards, so it adds to the survivability of the unit. It should be said that this unit is very, very tanky. If you go bottom line, it can survive multiple trebuchets. I tend to go top line because I want to absolutely maximize the damage output. Again, either way is fine, but the unit is all about their horrific damage, so that's what I've maximized. Unwavering loyalty will take 20% damage, less damage as they attack the enemy. So unwavering loyalty, it comes with the cover commander. Just wanted to check I had that right. I've already put people wrong once this week, and so I'm not going to put you wrong this time. And Pillar in Flames is long gone. The only real fire weapons in it still affect them. In the game, that is. So their formations. Disperse is useless. This one here, Half Moon, if you were to hold down your formation button and push them into the enemy, that's the one you want to use. You'd only really do that if you're not a heavy or tanky hero. Most of the time you'll take them into the enemy using the get over here. And it's not cover commander. It's not like a formation that you'll use except when you actually get over here. Get over here is the genuine cover commander. So, you've probably heard me rattle on enough now about the Silahdars. This here is just a cosmetic difference between the servers, ignore that. You'll get either Glory or, see here, Royal Janissaries Glory. Royal Janissaries are what they used to be called before the names were changed to be the same. And this one would have been Royal Janissaries Wailing Wall. So that one would say Silahdars Wailing Wall up here. It's just a cosmetic difference between the servers. Anyway, let's go and show you a little bit of gameplay and talk about how this unit loves to seize the initiative and keep it. Let's go. So here we are having a look at a little bit of Silahdar gameplay. So the two abilities that we've described, the Death Strike and the Sideways Sweep, have their uses, and you can just go back and pause them if you want to reread that at all. Saying hello to my friend Leon here, I haven't seen for a while. Hi Leon, you're in a video. So, the two main ways that you can use the Silahdars is to either use the formation and hold the key down and walk them in and then do the abilities. But if you're a tank frontline hero, a longsword, short sword, any of the heavy armor classes really can do it alright. You just bring them with you in the cover commander here. Now they get the bonuses in cover commander that we've already covered, so that is really lovely, and you want to maintain those as much as possible. So here we are just baiting javelin throws. Isn't that nice? Because we know that those look like Imperial javelins to me. And if they are, they don't have a lot of ammunition. At least that's what I thought when I recorded this game. So here's our first game. So we're going to go all the way in, to real deep with the hero. We're going to trigger the big shield smashing strike, and then we're going to trigger the lesser strike that's spammable. And don't forget that they continue to use those strikes for about 8 seconds after it's triggered. You'll notice there, especially that the trebuchet didn't do a heck of a lot of damage to the Silahdars. There we go. The old slap chop took out a longsword. And here we are, we're back to chilling on the point and healing everyone we can, because, you know, that's longsword stuff. Now, you're not going to be able to heal the longsword, You're not going to be able to heal the Silahdars, and yes, you too are a longsword. So you may have to hang out closer to a supply. We can always run along the wall, for example, and heal them up when things get too low. But you don't want to let them get too low without a heal. Now, when I was playing the game, I'm thinking, look, there's that pike at the back. If you didn't see him, go and have a look. And he's standing still. And when heroes stand still, that's suspicious, and it usually precipitates a trebuchet. It wasn't till later, as you can see, the trebuchet comes in. But if you see a hero standing still and looking at you, and you've got troops in a trebuchetable area, that may be what's going on. Now, you'll notice that none of the heroes really want to tangle with... javelins were bad. Happily they missed. But you'll see that none of the heroes really want to tangle with the Silahdars, and that's for good reason, because they will slap chop you into the middle of next week. But we're just hit by another trebuchet, and we're still going. So the heroes won't mess with you deliberately, because, well, you can kick them into next week with a giant slap. Makes people very hesitant. Look at this guy. We're going to hit him twice with the longsword ability that reduces his armor by 30%, which is disgusting, and then our friends are going to get him. I could have actually dragged the Silahdars through, so to walk past him and keep walking, and all the Silahdars would have sort of stacked up on top of him. Now what I can do here is I can either pull back like I did, or I could stay in. You'll notice we still have the entire unit is still left alive. But one of the things about the Silahdars is that you want to maintain the initiative. You don't want the enemy calling the shots on where to fight. You don't want the enemy calling the shots on how to fight. That's why. You see, he thought we were going to go in there and try and track the heroes. We couldn't see those stalwarts, but we kind of knew something was up there. So we're going to maintain the initiative. So when our team go in, then we're going to drag them in. So yeah, we can sort of slap through the wall because we've got a polearm type weapon. Those damage numbers are not very big. I suggest to you they're probably hitting shields. So there we go, and now we need to get back out again. I'm a little slow on the getting back out again because the Silahdars don't react super quickly, and you have to factor that in your decision making. Happily I can make them fast, and Iron Reapers don't stand any chance whatsoever against this sort of unit composition of the pikes, the Silahdars, and the little shield boys in the front. I've lost where they've gone. Well, we get trebucheted again. It's the third time we've been trebucheted with this unit, and we're still kicking. But of course, we don't want to go into the front line if we don't need to. Again, we're going to try and maintain the initiative. We're going to engage when it suits us, not when it suits the enemy. As soon as we see this hero on low, in we go. We're going to hit the stalwarts in the back. We're going to come in, we're going to use the slap chop, which knocks down their shields, and then we're going to use the big slash, which does all the damage. Very delicious. We maintain coherency with our units. Look at this guy, look at cheeky rat, eh? He's got minus 30 armor if we had been able to follow up. So, we're back to defending the point. And Silahdars are quite good for this sort of thing because heroes won't come in on their own, right? There's a few units that can do that, like you put a block of 40s on there, the Fortebrachio pikes on there. People don't want to come and jump on those either because they'll kill them pretty quick. And this is one of those units where heroes without the unit just do not want any part of it. And I suggest to you that if you're a hero without your unit, that you also don't go looking for Silahdars to fight. Now, if we were not a longsword, this would be the opportunity to go back and get healed up now. There's a lull in the action, and you've got to pick those lulls in the action, the quiet spot in the action well. We'd already be on our way back now after healing, had we not been able to heal ourselves. And we're just waiting for some action to happen here. Looking for any heroes who are trying to sneak up the back, so we can slap chop them. Chilling, chilling, chilling. Now what's going to happen here is we're going to start taking indirect fire from cannons, and of course there's no point in just sitting there and taking that indirect fire. At the same time the enemy tries to advance down the bottom. Can you see those units down the bottom? So here I think, F this, I'm out of here. There's no point in getting my Silahdars murdered. And we ended up facing along my Dao. Now my Dao are tough, but they don't do a lot of damage and they don't have great burst. Particularly because their number 3 charge, I can knock it out with my my longsword ult. So that guy there wisely retreated, or I was going to go and kill him horribly. So you can see on the map that the enemy advancing down. And what the stalwart player next to me here and myself have kind of the same realisation. We're going to have a peek, see what's going on, realising that we would both lose our units, very, very quickly, and for little to no gain, we decide that no, it's better to save our unit and come back and fight another day. Again, they have the initiative. We have to go up the stairs, we have to turn all the way around that corner just to engage them. So you don't fight around corners in this game. It just doesn't work. Your unit comes in fragmented in a line, and you walk into prepared enemies typically. So you don't attack round corners in this game. Same as if you play something like StarCraft or other RTSs, you don't attack round corners. Same here in Conquerors Blade. So, while I was playing this game, I was clearly just looking around to see where the attack's coming from. And as we can see on the map there is a long line of enemies who are lining up to be murdered horribly. Which is fantastic, because we're more than willing to help them on that. Just while I'm going past, I'm going to make these Iron Reapers 20% faster, and off they go. Thank you for the heal, friend. Now, one of the fun things about longsword is you can take units that are relatively slow, and you can make them relatively fast with your ability. So we're going to pretend that we're cavalry, and we're going to go all the way around the flank, and we're going to flank with a heavy infantry unit. And as you might see from the enemy here, they don't know this is coming, and it's going to become as quite a shock to them when I dive in as deep as I can in the enemy ranks, line them up, do the slap chop, and then beat them down with this big curvy death strike. See how I put them straight back into the cover commander, so that they continue to get the benefits of the cover commander, which are typically toughness benefits. If there were more units around, especially light units, I would have let them stay in the 8 seconds of continue to cast the slap chop. But because we were facing just heroes at that point, I wanted them to be tougher so we could save more of the unit. So now we're left with 18 Silahdars. And we have to kind of figure out where we're going to go again. Where can we maintain the initiative? We don't want to fight on the enemy's choosing. Typically we want friends in front of us. So here I am, just sort of looking left, looking right, to look for those opportunities. We can see that one of our team is pinked, and we can see 2 of the enemy on the map. By the way, only one of your team needs to be able to look at a direct line of sight to enemy units or enemy heroes for them to appear on the map. If there's no line of sight from any of your units or heroes, you will not have that vision on the map. So we're looking to maybe do that infantry flank again when we find a large unit of Chevaliers. Now, I wasn't sure whether I thought here where I would go up and over and down the stairs, but that would mean I'm fighting around a corner, so typically I think that would mean I was just trying to hide from the cavalry. When Silahdars get chomped on by cavalry, they actually can stop a cavalry charge if you time their slap chop well, but it's very, very risky, and 9 times out of 10 you'll end up dead. So anyway, we've got the initiative here because he's decided to pull back, which he's just handed me the initiative, and when you hand the initiative to Silahdars, who are excellent at ripping through heavy units, we're just going to kill them. Do you see how I'm trying to tank the bow shots from the archers there on my shield? And we're just going to completely hoe and hew through this enemy unit really, really rapidly. Delicious. Again, they had the initiative, sitting there waiting with their crossbows, and they gave it to us. We took the initiative and ran with it. So, this is kind of the end of the unit. I could heal it up again and keep going, but this is the only unit I've used in this battle, so obviously I wanted to go and get one of the fresh units. So I just sent them into the battle there, and they actually just sort of start carving up. You can see the damage, the kill number is still trickling up on the right hand side there. So all in all, the Silahdars did very, very good in this game. They got a couple of hero kills and over 70 unit murders, over 750 unit murder score. So, well, boys and girls, I hope you learned something new, or you just enjoyed the video. Hey, thank you so much for coming to my channel.
Slap chop.